Thank you for Patreon now for donating to the Patreon.
Hey guys, it's Vanity Ezel back in the Card 5 Vanguard deck profile. So because George don't like, subscribe and watch how we. This time we are covering the next set of reveals. So we finally have set 12 reveals starting, and we have the end of the token random reveals. Because last time I said we had end of token random reveals, which was half right, but then apparently 3 more cards were left. So let's go and get the start, shall we? First, let's start with the 3 token rainbow cards. We have O Kanehira Kiwame, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base, token Daishi Tachi, auto rear guard when this unit attacks. If you have a unit with Ugi Sumaru in its card name, this unit goes 5k power to the battle, and if your drop zone has 2 or more cards with Unakadihiri Hire in their card names, it gets plus 10k instead of 5k. Arm pretty solid, it's a 20k swinger on attack. It's probably going to be at least a 15k, but possible 20k is nice as well. And then continues guard, so if opponent's vanguard's a grade 3 or greater, it gets a 5k shield, which is nice. So it's a 10k shield if the opponent's at grade 3. It's just a good card to have, and I do like his art. His hair is especially interesting to me. I don't know why. So I don't know, solid support card for just like any deck because of that one skill alone, and then this extra skill might come in handy for who knows what. So possible 2 of 3 of per deck. And we have Ugi Sumaru Kiwame, aka thing that's supported by this one. Grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. Auto, when it's placed on rear guard circle by combosting 1, look at top 7 for up to 1 OK Nahira into the card name, reveal it, put it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and then auto rear guard when this unit attacks. Choose one of your units with OK Nahira in its card name, and gets and that in this unit gets 5k power for the turn. Why does Bushi making like combo cards now? This is like in Buddy Fight, and I don't know why my mind is immediately going back to Buddy Fight. It made sense, and then in Vanguard, it's kind of like they're just pumping so many of them out at once. It's like we had one with like the Devil Orgs. We had one with it was something else in set 12 that or set 11 that we had that was like a required 2 specific units. There was those 2 Brand Gate cards I think they were in set 10. There was something in set 9. I don't really remember, but point is like they're making an interesting amount of combo units. I just question why. And then we have Daihana Nagimitsu Kiwame, grade 2 and 5k shield, 10k base. His face looks like an anime face. Auto and placed on rear guard circle by counter blasting 1 and soul blasting 2. Retire all your opponent's rear guards and column as him. That is the heftiest cost I've ever seen for counter blast for just to kill a column. Like, I don't know. We've seen a lot of column killers in the game. I feel like that's like the heftiest cost any one of them has ever gone to. But I mean, fair enough. He kills a column. What's more to say about him? Take it as you will at face value. And then we have some nice Stoicheia cards. Of course, the first thing to be for set 12 are set 12 are Stoicheia cards. First, we have Resident of the Rose Garden Chipmas, grade 1 boost, 5k shield, 8k base. Okay, I gotta admit though, this is cute. I love this art. Auto rear guard once per turn when 3 or more of your plant gauges are discarded at the same time by your card's ability cost. This unit gets 10k power for the turn. Armor pretty solid, works really well with Granfia. So when you stand something in front of Chipmas, unless you're standing Chipmas himself, you are getting a lot of numbers to whatever's in front of it, and then this will since it hopefully will be standing, it'll get more numbers as well. Or you can just move it to the front row and have this thing gain numbers from its ability and then gain numbers from the restand. Either way though, Chipmas is a very solid grade 1. I like the skill a lot. Easy for me. It's just really cute. Like, look at it. We got the little squirrels and we got the little guy hanging out with it, like the squirrel tail and everything. It's so cute. Then we have Blessing the Blooming Buds. This is going to end up making one of these decks broken on one of these days. Grade 0 normal order. All your units with original power 5k or less get plus 10k power and get auto rear guard. When this unit attack hits, you may return this unit to your hand until end of turn. So if they ever, for some arbitrary reason, drop a PG to 5k power, it gets plus 10, and then it gets the ability to bounce. Now, I want this to be clear. In Premium, when you're running Trigger Sentinels, suddenly those become a lot more powerful when you think about this. And here's another interesting little thing. It says units, not rear guards. It does apply to rear guards, but it says units. So if you wanted to, for whatever conceivable reason it may be, if your Vanguard's original power was 5k, just, I don't know, play this, bring the power up to 15. Yeah, and then again, also giving them the on-bounce ability. And this is just going to be fun for any like Leonorn decks or plant token-based decks. Hell, Momoke would get a kick out of this because just as the original power, it doesn't matter if their power in the moment's 5k or less, as long as the original power is 5k or less. Any deck that has units that is mainly going to make a board of 5k or less units, this is a floor of within every 5 seconds. It's free. It makes them all at least 15k boosters probably, and it gives them on-hit pressure. 4 of. Then we have Rosarium Fairy, grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base. Auto, when this unit is placed on rearguard circle by retiring another rearguard, call up to 2 plant tokens to rearguard circle. I'm pretty solid, it makes 2 from 1. And then auto rearguard, when this unit attacks, if you have a Vanguard, Granfia, or Leonore in its card name, and your opponent's Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater, choose one of the other back or rear guards, and this unit gets plus power equal to that unit's power to end the battle. All around, pretty solid, because, like, it is just a good number you can use to, increase her own power to kind of match that of your bigger boosters. I mean, it makes this a lot more valuable. And something that it just makes me think of is this is like the Gunninsola from, not Leonore, Magnolia, except it gives itself power. Now, here's a fun little interesting tidbit about that. If for some ungodly reason they gave either Granfia or Leonore the ability to attack from the back row, because Gunninsola is not restricted to swinging from back row, or it is restricted from back row, but it doesn't matter who's on Vanguard Circle for it, suddenly that card's going to spike in price, and suddenly any Stoikea deck now has access to a gun as a toolbox, like their toolbox isn't already full of guns. So, for Rosarium Fairy, either Granfia or Leonore, it gets 2 plant tokens, so it pumps up the plant gauges for Granfia, and for Leonore, it adds extra power as a booster, or sorry, not extra power as a booster, but as an extra attacker, but also it can, make itself just better, because it works for both, and it does benefit more from Granfia, but it does help Leonore a little bit too. Plus, it gets the 2 rear guards, or worst case scenario, like if you really bricked hard with the rear guards, or like you're in a bad situation, it can at least turn more boosters for Leonore to go to proc off. So 4 of Rosarium Fairy. I mean, maybe 3 of 2 of them Leonore, but still 4 of them Granfia. Then we have Blaze Battle Monk Zanshou, grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base. My guy, this is one of my favorite arts. It's so divine looking to me, and they gave it the skill that no one's ever going to use. Continuous rear guard all units with original just in the same combat as it gets 5k power active on both players' turns. If you're a prayer dragon, if this was a prayer dragon, I would have ran this within 5 seconds, no hesitation. Any of my decks, I'm not running this in. I either need the space to call overdress units, so they need to be overdress units, they need to be trick stars, or things that can search them. The power is never important because they already have enough power output as is, for me at least. But I mean, you know what? He's there. He's cool looking. That's all I can really say about him. I'm kind of hoping they make another version of Nirvana that involves original just for 5 seconds. I can run this guy in a deck just so I can feel proud of myself. 4 of Zanshou. There's not much more I can say about this. Next up, we have Admiral of the Rising Tides, Anicetos, grade 3 200%, 13k base. Auto rear guard on this unit attacks until end of battle. This unit gets plus 2k power for each of your grade 1 or lower rear guards. All around, very interesting. Like, this is a nice support card for Leonore. If like 95% of your board, and by 95 I mean every unit but this in the Vanguard are grade 1. So then he's casually swinging for a total of plus 8, so 21k swing. Combo that with Mask for multi-attack, and he's honestly going to be a pretty solid grade 3. The only way I think he could be better is just till end of term, but if that was the case, I would be a lot more broken, and I feel like Maelstrom and or Flagberg would find a way to abuse the hell out of that. Either way, very solid grade 3. Like the skill a lot. It's a solid 2 of the 3 of an Leonore deck. And now let's finish off with our last few reviews for the day. First up, we have Quaking Bullet of Duststorm Roderick, grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base. Auto erode upon by Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm Randor. If your opponent has no rear guards, draw a card, and then act Soul, cause to rest a rear guard in order to call him to rear guard circle when he gets plus 5k power for the turn. Fucking finally. Yes. And this is what I've been waiting for. Not something like Nirvana's Ride line, where they evolve with Nirvana, that is cool too. Just like, or not necessarily something with Bruce Ride line where they all stay the same. Yes, finally, an alternate Ride line card. You can choose to keep Nigel if you want that soul, or you can now run Roderick over Nigel, and then when you ride it upon Randor, you can get a free draw if your opponent has no rear cards, forcing out a little bit of extra plus to hand. And then he also has a soul ability, so you can call him out, get numbers, and still proc off standing skills from Eugene. All around, very solid grade 1. He's not amazing, but he is a representation that Bushy can give me what I want, so I'm willing to stand by it. It's a nice 1 of in the ride deck, maybe 2 of in the main deck. Then we have Wild Bullet of Duststorm Clifton, grade 1 boost 5k shield, AK base. Auto rear guard on this unit attack or boost. If your opponent's rear guard was retired by the ability of your Vanguard this turn, he gets plus 2k power until the battle for each of your opponent's open rear guard circles. Cool, a very powerful booster that can possibly become an 18k booster, an 18k swinger, and not to mention that he's not restricted by Eugene for skill. And then auto rear guard at the end of the battle with this unit boosted. If you have Vanguard with Eugene's card name, retire this unit, choose up to 3 cards from your soul, and if you choose one
or more cards, return them to the deck and shuffle it. And if you do not countercharge this turn, countercharge 1. All around, pretty solid because you are not forced to pick anything more than 1 to get that countercharge, and not to mention the fact that he can recycle 3 triggers basically. All around, Clifton is a very solid grade 1, gets good numbers for attacks or boost, and get a countercharge in the turn. Was not like about to come easy 3 of, if not 4 of. Then we have 2 cards for Solarian. First up is Divine Sister Dracois. Grade 1 boost 5k shield, 8k base, on no rear guard once per turn. When your unit is placed by your card's ability, by card busting 1 to draw a card, and if it was placed by the Vanguard of your Vanguard Solarian's card name, that puts you against 5k as well. All around pretty solid, so it's an easy solid draw card as long as something was placed by an ability, and then if the Vanguard placed it, then it gets an extra 5k on top of that. All around pretty solid, and not to mention the fact just because your other unit, so if Solarian ever got the ability to Superior Ride, it would proc off the ability for that too. All around, Dracois, very solid grade 1, like the skill, possible draw, and a possible 5k as well. Nice 2 of 3 of, because I don't really think see me running it too much, but still so good. And then finally we have Sagely Dragon Wisdom Claw Dragon, grade 2 5k shield, 10k base. Auto when it's placed on rearguard circle from the deck, it gets plus 5k power for the turn, cool. So if you stack it with Draco Cois, plus 20 in total, and then not plus 20 in total, turns into 20 in total. And then auto when placed on rearguard circle, if you have a Vanguard Solarian's card name, look at the top card of your deck, put it to top or bottom, then by card busting 1, you can reveal the top card of your deck, and you may call it to an open rearguard circle, and if it's a unit card, and you do not call it, put it to your soul. Alright, very solid because, it just kind of can give Solarian more multi-attack because if you, or can more multi-attack consistently because, if your front row, if both front and rear guard circles are now open, you can use Wisdom Claw Dragon to call something to that other open front and rear guard circle and get more attacks out of it. All around now, Solarian has more ways to get a consistent 5-attack rush going, and not to mention the fact that we have Draco Cois to kind of help set up those numbers a little bit more, but it will definitely become more counter boss heavy. So get your copies of whatever the hell that one countercharge grade 2 was before it runs out of, or before it becomes too expensive, or just buy the Grand Grace trial deck, one of the 2. Either way, I'm gonna end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, just go to follow Twitch, and I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget to stand up your Vanguards.